treating each other as human beings, because at the end of the day, we are, you know what I mean? The overall health of myself goes into the work that I do, whether they want to say, well, leave your home life at the door. No, naturally, you're going to bring it into any professional
Yeah.
setting that you're going to be in.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is no work life balance, then that itself already sets the project up for
Yeah.
failure. You know,
Yeah.
like it's unrealistic to say we're going to work from 8 to 8 p.m. For what? What are we
Yeah.
doing? Consulting for us is definitely a holistic approach
Yes.
instead of just being, again, numbers driven.
Yeah, like you should feel like you're part of the team as a
Mm-hmm.
consulting firm. Like you and your client, you should feel like you shouldn't even feel like this is a vendor or this is a client. You should feel like one team
Yeah.
because that's the way you'll have the most effective results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think of it too as like going in a store and seeing like a piece of clothing on the floor and you just walk over it because you don't work there. No, you pick it up because you
Mhm.
see it needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I feel like the humanistic part of it is missing from today's consulting as well, which goes back
Yeah.
to the whole relationship building and being genuine from that perspective as well. You
Yeah.
know, like treating each other as human beings, because at the end of the day, we are, you know what I mean? The overall health of myself goes into the work that I do, whether they want to say, well, leave your home life at the door. No, naturally, you're going to bring it into any professional
Yeah.
setting that you're going to be in. So
Mhm.
if there is no work life balance, then that itself already sets the project up for
Yeah.
failure. You know,
Yeah.
like it's unrealistic to say we're going to work from 8 to 8 p.m. For what? What are we
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, yeah. And most of that time, like working from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. or 9 to 9 or whatever hours, half of it is because the project was set up wrong to begin with, right?
Yeah.
So like if you take out those like ego driving factors like trying to just cut a deal just because you want to cut a deal and really taking a step back and be like, okay, let me be honest and let me do what's right, the project is much more likely to start off with success. Everyone is much more likely to have regular working hours.
Mm-hmm.
And your consulting team isn't going to burn out and become miserable and everything, right? You hire consultants because of their brain and
Mm-hmm.
because of their, specialty and what they're trying to deliver. But if you're working them to the ground with every single engagement, the value of your consultant is like you shouldn't even be consulting, right? You need to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you're not burnt out. You need to
Mm-hmm.
make sure your brain is at peak performance so that you can deliver your best self.
Exactly. Yep. I agree. So that's our experience with large consulting firms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And would you say J.Caresse is more a boutique style?
Yes, it's definitely more boutique style.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's funny because it's like you go back and forth between, having large goals to become a larger consulting firm, but at the same time, it's like, how do you keep that secret sauce of
Mm-hmm.
when you're smaller,
Right.
right? Because like with the politics, I don't care about politics. Like, if you don't like something, tell me, right? Don't be passive aggressive and whatever. But if you're not going to like something, you need to have concrete reasons, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, with the large corporate, there's just so much bureaucracy. I don't know. Maybe it's because everyone wants their share of allocation of budget or something or whatever.
But those people always bring their personal lives into the building anyway.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do.
Or if they're friends with
Oh,
someone.
let's not get started. That's a whole other topic. That's a whole other topic.
Yeah, because it's like, where we were before, like so much things could have been changed if they
Yeah.
just opened up the decision making circle to people who weren't friends,
Mm-hmm.
right? People who are friends, you're in your bubble and
Yeah.
you're not going to want to listen to anybody who's not part of your bubble, and so you're missing out on valuable things that could be very changing
Mm-hmm.
in a good way. So
And you find that those older companies too, they don't even focus on training and development until it's too
no,
late.
yeah,
Because a lot of people that we reported to, they didn't even have a PMP. And
no,
that was something I learned like after the fact. I'm like, wait, I thought they were mentors within the group. What do you mean they don't have their certification? So
Yeah.
yes, it's just a piece of paper, but it also ties to, your overall like theoretical knowledge of what it is that you're trying to do,
Mhm.
with a client. So
Mhm.
not just experience, because then why would we need to go to school? You know what I mean? Like there's still traditional learning that needs to be done to cement that part of
Yeah.
consulting.
Yeah.
And that was something that was just being implemented like last year. And the company is how old? Like
Yeah, it's
super
pretty.
old. It's one
Yeah.
of you know, the
Yeah.
big guys. So
Yeah.
for that to be something that's they're just doing, it says a lot about
Yeah.
large consulting firms.
Yeah. 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 It's funny because like maybe I don't know if there's a huge difference between the cultures of like tech consulting firms
Mhm.
and non-tech consulting, but it's like the way how they treat us, we were literally like a money bag,
Mhm.
right? Like you need to make sure you're billing all your
Yeah.
time, all your time.
Mhm.
And so it's like, okay, if I'm billing 40 hours a week on a client engagement, but I'm working more than 40 hours, how am I going to have time to really truly have learning and development, right? They didn't, like, even the learning that they did have outside of just, PMP, like
Mhm.
it wasn't, it was so surface level.
It wasn't practical, and it wasn't something that could be applicable to any of the work that we was doing. It was just
Yeah.
more so take take this off because it's something that's supposed to be done, and something you could do on like your yearly review to say you've done this as
Yeah.
training and development, when really and
Yeah.
truly it's not something you can apply as something you gain knowledge from. So it was
Yeah.
like very, very surface level, and not situational or real life experience that you could actually have with a client.
Yeah. I think and the different departments, I did notice different departments had different levels of emphasis of training. For
Mhm.
example, I noticed like the more dev tech
Mhm.
departments, they made sure that their people got certifications and stuff. Like make sure you
Mhm.
keep getting your certifications and things like that. And I think that the company paid for it. But like our department for project management, um, yeah, there wasn't anything for us.
No, there wasn't. So,
The
and that
yeah.
brings us to another part too, where I think it's important to segment the PM career, because there's so many roles that can be,
It's true.
taken on. Like you don't have to be a project manager on a project.
No.
You have like a customer success manager, which in our experience, that the CSM wasn't who they were supposed to be. Like they would throw us under the bus, and that's not what consulting is supposed to be. You're
Yeah.
not supposed to like just agree with the client because the client is always right. Like, no,
Yeah.
100% no.
What's funny? Like I had one client success manager who was also like a developer on the project as well.
Really?
There's so much conflict of interest. So then like the guy defaulted into like his developer,
Mm.
and then the relationship just turned so sour. It got so weird. Like I don't know, the client success manager role. I don't know.
And that's a huge part of consulting too. Like, who are the people that are going to be solving? Like, who are the people that are going to be a part of the solution for the client? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, are we integrating the correct people? Like, are we
Yeah.
bringing in the correct subject matter experts?
Yeah.
Are these people really subject matter experts, or are they in their roles because of who they know? You know what I
That's
mean?
true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Um yeah, it's I'm just like thinking about just all the dysfunction behind it all. Like, why does there have to be dysfunction? Like, because at the end of the day, everybody just wants to do a good job too, though.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
people want to enjoy their work. They want to
Mhm.
enjoy what they do.
Yeah.
They want to enjoy where they work too. And it's like, why is that so hard to achieve?
Yeah. And then because you don't have anyone looking to, in terms of, they don't know what they're doing either. So it's like you're looking
Yeah.
for guidance from someone that's also misled, that's also, not really knowledgeable of their own role. So they're not going to be able to motivate or train you to go
Yeah.
to where you need to be either. So that's
Yeah.
also a huge part. Like there are so many dysfunctions within current consulting, and a lot of people want to go into PM, and I'm like, when I see that, I'm
Yeah.
like, you don't even know what you're asking for.